Gotta check everything. Man, I can't wait till I start recording everything locally and then uploading it, because I could cut out a whole bunch of nonsense. Let's see. Got a white. God, what am I? Australian? White. Yeah, give me a second. I'll get into the game rant in a momento. Poor favor. I put a lot of tags in this one, so I need to know or make sure that I am live and YouTube is not screwing me over. Alright, okay. Over. And shouts out to YouTube Red. YouTube Red's really helping me out, you know. Give me a few cents. Yeah, you know. Alright, let me check my audio levels really fast. I mean, you know, what am I going to check audio levels in a scenario where it's very quiet in the game? Let me... Cool. Give me all that. Alright. Yeah, you were right. You saw all those L's at the bottom of the screen. I do nothing but lose in this game. Alright. Gonna go with the Nueva York.
It's the 2K Sports.
Alright, whatever.
Show.
So, I'm going to talk about today the reason why I'm not buying Star Wars Battlefront. Oh yeah, I'm one of those guys. I hate them. They're greedy. They're very greedy. Actually, no. I don't really hate them for the decisions that they make or for the content that they're putting out. I really don't hate them for it. I don't have a reason to as a consumer. But really, what I'm trying to... first I want to break down... Yeah, I love Star Wars, okay? And I grew up... You know, I'm 22. So when I grew up, the Star Wars I grew up on was the one that people didn't like. I grew up on Star Wars Episode 1. I saw Episode 2. Episode 3 I started to fall off. I think that's one I didn't really see. That's the one that I didn't see. But... Episode 3, I think I've seen it, but I don't remember it. You know, whatever. That was kind of lackadaisical in my eyes. But... we're talking about, let me check my, yeah, you can hear me clear. Anyway, so, what I'm, I grew up on Star Wars Episode 1, episodes, whatever, and then I saw later on, my teen years, some of the other Star Wars, so, I love Star Wars. It's really funny, it's really cool, it's really intense. It's everything that I like about, you know, sci-fi, and especially I want to see the new one because, you know, everybody was like, fuck the guy with the you know, hand greaves or hand guard. Oh God, get off me. Fuck the guy with the hand guards, you know, in Star Wars. It's not canon. It's not cool. And I'm like, well, shut the fuck up. That's pretty fucking cool, alright? And I'm not going to see it on opening day because I don't like being part of a hype machine, and, you know, really, it's not my style of fun. I don't want to be crammed in with a whole bunch of people who are super excited for this thing. That'll be a whole event. I just want to watch the movie. Anyway, so, you know, I love Star Wars. And I played Battlefield, not Battlefield, Battlefront. I played, you know, the ones on PSPs, and, you know, the ones where it's third-person based, and, you know, it's really, you know, not that intense. But, oh shit, just throw it. But yeah, like, I can't really, it's not the properties that I hate. It's the problem I'm having with Star Wars right now is that we are dealing with money. Alright, now, I love money. I love people who will go out and get their money. I love people who will set up any way to squeeze as much money out as possible and not take advantage, but really find a good method of maintaining their amounts of income. So, we're talking about them being greedy. I don't think it's greedy. I think it's and when I heard it, when I heard it at first, it sounded like the end of the goddamn world, you know, like, everybody made it seem like they're out for, you know, they're trying to, they're trying to ruin a property, you know, they made it seem like everything was falling apart for, you know, monetary purposes. So when we're talking about, you know, Star Wars, I thought people were having an issue with, you know, the Game Pass, and that everybody does have a problem with the Game Pass. And that's why I was like, oh man, maybe this Game Pass thing is bad, you know? And I looked it up, and it's pretty much the same as everything else I've been around, you know? When dealing with video games, as far as recently, you know, I watched a lot. I mean, like, I played a lot of Call of Duty, and you know, in the last, you know, and it started to feel like I was getting abused because they've never took it there. But when they're trying to nickel and dime you for every step of the way, you know, as far as content goes, you know, it is frustrating, but you are buying content. You are buying something that they're creating, and it's up to you to determine if it's worth it or not. And people talk about they're trying to find formulas of what the determining worth of a game. You know, like, damn, Rose, fuck. Anyway, when people talk about, you know, money determining, you know, like Spool from Funhouse, he talks about, oh, $1 an hour, and you know, he has a whole bunch of stipulations and rules to that because it's never that black and white. And of course, it's never that black and white. It's your money, and you're trying to measure if it's worth it to buy something for the amount of entertainment and fun that you're having. So, okay, I was like, enough of that. So when we're talking about things like, you know, paying $1 an hour, or, you know, all these types of things, I don't think that's fair. I think what we're talking about here is, or what we have, or what I like to, you know, put, is that you're paying for, you know, you're paying for content. You're dealing with, excuse me. Oh shit. You're talking about paying for something that a whole industry has made, and people have to get paid. So they have to put a price tag on it. And it sucks that it's that big, but you know, what can you do? I mean, you didn't create it. You didn't have your hands in it. All you have to do is either subject yourself to it and buy it, or avoid it. Like me, I'm not angry that a developer would, I'm not angry that a developer would, you know, basically put a paywall. I'm not angry. It's a standard modus operandi nowadays. I mean, you know, but to me, it's how much can I afford? How much can I take? Because, like, I'm a Destiny player, so a paywall is a big part of Destiny. Like, ooh, a paywall is a big part of Destiny. Really is. Like, there's nothing about Destiny, and you don't have to, like, even with the emote system that I did a game rant on. Please watch that game rant. You know, you have to pay. You know, you're paying for content, and you're gonna pay for whatever value. Now, if it's too much, say you're paying $5 for an emote, that's just abuse. And when you're dealing with abuse, the market will dictate what happens to that. Will you subject to that abuse, or will you put your foot down and say, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna buy it. It's gonna end up a failure. People aren't gonna enjoy it. People, you know, the people who worked on it are gonna have to forfeit and say, okay, we're gonna have to lower the price if we want success. And, you know, that's how capitalism works. And that's why capitalism is such a powerful and important... Oh, fuck you! That's why capitalism is such a powerful and important, you know, driving factor for me. And that's why I like capitalism so much. People are like, oh, well, the communism, you know, everybody should have the even amount of money. Well, I'm not with that. But Game Rant's not about politics. Politics and economics. Anyway, you know, you not buying it will determine if it gets lowered or not. It'll determine if more will be made. It'll determine how they handle business in the future. And really, lately, game-wise, everybody's been kind of into getting abused. They're like a beat-down spouse. Like, they're really not fighting for... fighting to get their voices heard. They want to tell you that something's wrong, but they don't want to put down their foot and, you know, really draw the line. And that's our fault as a gaming community, and it's our fault that we put ourselves up to it and complain about it. We can't complain about something that we are driving. So we're driving this gaming industry with all that money we put into these games. We're driving the gaming community. And when we're talking about when we're dealing with bullshit like a $50 paywall for a season pass, which again, that doesn't sound too weird to me. I mean, that doesn't sound too weird to me. I mean, like, season passes, I mean, it depends on how much content you're getting. So when I got Taken King, you know, that was a lot of $50 is a lot of money to pay for Taken King. But there's a lot of content that came with it. I got at least I don't know, I got at least a lot of hours out of it. And because Destiny's one of those grindy RPG element type games, you know, that games are moving towards. Not slowly either. They're barreling towards it. And good for them, you know, like, they need to develop a way to pay for, or a way to build up this money so they can make grand games and make these games more in depth, you know, like Grand Theft Auto and Destiny, and, you know, like games like Skyrim before, you know, like Skyrim was pre this type of, or this era of things, and, you know, they kind of dropped the ball with, the last Elder Scrolls Online, but I mean, you know, it's a new format, a new way of handling it with that, you know, very single player driven concept, and, you know, if they're going to do that again, they're going to have to figure something out. But, you know, when we're talking about you know, these paywalls, I don't, oh god, he's just gonna school me all game. I don't think that it's that bad. You know, like, you're paying for content, and if you don't want the content, don't pay for it. And if you think the content's too steep and you can't live without this content, but you can't afford it, don't buy it in the first place. And that's really where I stand as far as where my money's going. I can't afford it. Like, I can't even begin to afford anyway, I can't really afford to buy Battlefront for $60, and then knowing that all this extra content is going to come out for, especially with a Game Pass, we're talking about $50 for that whole pass, or when you're talking about $15 per, you know, installation. Like, when I bought Battlefront or Battlefield, it was a long time ago. I think it was Battlefield 3 or some shit like that. It was before the one with the cops and robbers. But when I bought Battlefield, I only bought like a couple packs. It's that, you know, I probably bought one. I think it came with one, and that was it. And they're talking about, oh, it splits up a gaming community. Now, to me, if I'm gonna buy Battlefront, if I'm going to buy it, which right now I'm leaning on no, because I don't have that money. I would if you hooked us up with Patreon. Help us out with our Patreon. Blah blah blah. Anyway, when, you know, I could, if I could afford to buy, you know, Battlefront, it's in itself, and then buy a couple packs, I would totally do that. Me, I need at least, it's a multiplayer experience like Battlefield, so if I'm gonna play multiplayer, I'm gonna need at least maybe 10 maps. And, you know, I'm gonna need at least, or, you know, it's really hard to quantify how many maps, because, you know, when you're playing multiplayer, you know, really, you only want to play a few. Like, when people were talking about how they hated, Call of Duty, like some Call of Duty new maps and stuff like that. You know, I only played, I didn't care where I played, because it's a map is a map. I mean, I like some more than others, but it didn't really determine, it didn't really hate anything. I mean, it's a game. But we're talking about, like, Call of Duty, you know, when I bought these map packs, it really didn't matter to me. I felt like, my friends are buying it, I need to buy it, because I don't want a paywall between me and my friends. And really, when my friends talk about, oh, are you buying the new Call of Duty? And I'm like, well, no, I mean, not right now. I mean, I don't have a reason to. Nobody's going to buy it. I don't want a part of it. And, you know, a few of them are buying it, so I might end up buying it. You know, and they're talking about zombies, and, you know, and really that's what Call of Duty Black Ops, that's really the determining factor between anything else that we're dealing with. If we're not getting, you know, like zombies, map packs really don't matter that much to us. But the whole thing is, we care about playing together. So that determines if we're going to buy it. And, you know, right now, not even enough of my friends are going to buy it. So I'm not going to sit there and pay money for something that only a couple of us are going to buy, you know, like, or none of us are going to buy. I don't have time for that. Bang, free, baby. I don't want that. Like, that sucks. That's not fun. That's not cool with me. Like, you know? I'll do without it. It's okay. I can miss some things, you know, like it came with growing up. When you're younger, you want everything. You want it all. But, nah, you find these things that you're contented in and, you know, you stick with it. Like me, I'm sticking with Destiny, you know, like, for now, unless it starts to get too expensive or the content starts to get too shitty, that type of stuff. There's things that determine if I'll continue to buy something. But, I'm talking about, when I'm dealing with, you know, Battlefront, it was fun as fuck. The beta was fucking great. I loved every second of it. My God, you know, it was interesting. It was in the sound, audio. Oh my God, everything about it was just everything that you look for in a Star Wars environment. You know, it was just like, I'm excited even talking about it because, like, especially when like TIE fighters fall down in front of you. It was so great. It was just so great. But is that worth $60? Sure. I mean, I played shittier games that cost more money. You know, like, but we're talking about that worries me. You know, like, I worry about paying for something that sucks, and so if I have any second thoughts about it, I basically wait until people say what they have to say about it, see enough gameplay on it, and then really drive my taste towards it. If I don't have a taste for it, I don't want it. You know, like. And I won't buy it. It's no biggie. Like, that's just how I bought things. That's, you know, if you don't have the money, you can't buy it all, then don't buy it all. But, you know, I'm not buying it because it seems like they're planning to put a lot, I'm gonna have to plan to put a lot of money into paying for this game. And I don't have that money, and I don't want to spend that money on something like that. You know, I want more out of it. I don't even want more out of it, really. I just don't want to pay for it. Like, that's really it. Like, I don't care what they put on it because, you know, what I saw was great, and, you know, give it 6, like, they give it 10 more, 15 more, 20 more levels, and, you know, they focus on replayability and all that type of stuff. If I'm not playing with my friends, I'm not going to pay money for it, you know? It's a multiplayer game, and I want to play with my friends and make an experience and, you know, fight these battles, and I'm not really worried about story when it deals with games, dealing with DICE and EA like that. Like, I'm not really concerned about a story or a campaign. I mean, it's whatever. The Battlefront never really had a story or a campaign, like, where it had a real narrative. You know, it wasn't really like that. So, why is everybody, I don't know why everybody's hung up on that, especially, because it just never was that type of game, as far as I remember it. You know, I might have been playing it wrong, or I might have been too young to remember, but that wasn't the type of game it was to me. It was a game that I would play my cousin, and you know, and spank him in it, and then, you know, fucking tell him to deal with it. That was the type of game it was. And, you know, when I played it on PSP, it was great for PSP because it was really fun to deal with. It was really fun in a handheld scenario. Portables, Battlefront, fuck you, that's amazing. You know, playing by yourself, not that great, but when you're playing Battlefront handheld, when you're just laying on your bed about to go to sleep and you want to play a game and you just pop that sucker in, that's fucking beast. If you're not playing Monster Hunter, that's the fucking move. What's the problem? But you know, when I'm talking about this, I'm not really that butthurt about it. I'm really not that concerned or angry. That really doesn't hold. I fucked that up. That really doesn't hold a lot of weight. I'm being honest. It doesn't really give me my jollies, those type of games. So when we're talking about that, no, I'm not angry that they put a paywall up. I'm not angry that they want more money for more content, because that's how it works, people. Like, you want to fix a car, how's that not a foul? Dunk it. I suck. But when you're talking about money, paying money, it's your decision. Like it's your decision, and it's gonna cost money. It's more game, so you're gonna have to pay more money, and you already determined that you wanted it enough to put yourself through it, to subject yourself to paying more money. If you don't want to do that, pick yourself up a PS2 and play Shadow of Colossus or something. Those are all good games. I haven't played Shadow of the Colossus in a long time, so I don't know. Fuck you. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a if it holds up. I haven't played in such a long time, but you know, play Wind Waker or something. Like, don't look toward games that you know has a paywall and complain about paying money. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. That's just the most ass-backwards way of handling your money and handling the industry in its entirety. Like, how is an industry supposed to determine how to drive? How's the market supposed to drive itself blind? Like, you need to say what you want, or they're not going to know what you want, how you want it, and you're gonna be stuck, or what you're going to be putting up with. People hated Call of Duty that they had to pay that many for that much and that many times for more content. But you bought it. I bought it. I didn't complain. I just knew that I didn't have the money, and I complained about not having the money, but I didn't complain about the system itself. But I never really got angry. You know, like, I just wanted to play the game, and when my friends got the pack, I was like, okay, I gotta plot on getting the pack. I gotta mow the lawn or something. Like, I need to, you know, use up part of my paycheck or something. Like, it was really not that big a deal as far as me, because I know if I want something, I need to pay money for something. It's just how America works, or it's just how a market works. It's how a marketplace works. So, don't want it. If you don't want to buy the DLC, if you don't want to spend your money on more game, then don't buy the game initially. Like, and a lot of people are doing it that way. I'm doing it that way because fuck paying money that I don't have. Like, Destiny is going to cost some more money. I'm going to keep on paying for Destiny, especially because I just got the hang of the game. Like, I just figured out how to get the menus. I know about a lot of this stuff that's happening. Like, I didn't even know about trials until recently. Like, a lot of stuff I'm picking up on Destiny, and it's great. You know, like, I want to play more of that game because I want to pay more of that game. That's really it. So I'm gonna pay more for that game, and I don't care what it is. I mean, like, if it's like 110, and you know I'm getting a million things of content, great. You know, that's amazing, awesome. I love it. Like, but you know, if it stays the way it is, you know, paying $50 for a ton of content, and I'll do it. Love it. Goddamn, keep it up. But you know, I don't know. Like, people really have an issue with paying for things, and that's just not how money and supply and demand works. You know, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work like that. So as far as Battlefront goes, if you don't want to pay, then don't even start. Like, just don't buy it from the get. Like, you're just wasting your time, and you're going to be angry because you're going to pay for more. If you bought it initially, you're going to pay for more. It's just, you want to make that game worthwhile, so you're going to put up the money. That's just how it is. Don't be a part of it. Don't even get trapped. If you think it's a trap, don't even get trapped. Miss out on the experience for a little while. Watch the price drop. The price will drop. It has to drop. Like, or they want to go out of business, or that property is going to get screwed up a little bit, and they're not going to let that happen in Star Wars. Like, that amazing piece of American cinema, they're not going to let it go. They're not going to do that. So, I mean, if you want that to change, then don't fucking waste your... Oh my god. Man, D-Rose is sunning the shit out of me. If you don't want that, then don't pay for that. Like, and they're gonna drive the price down, and they're gonna find a way to be a little bit more conscientious when they're talking about dropping price for the game, for extra DLC. But it's a fucking season pass. I don't get it. Like, I'm not getting the anger or the stigma. I mean, I get the stigma, but I don't get the anger coming from a guy who's, you know, played games for a long time and seen the market transition into a more pay-to-play scenario. I've seen it change. It's, you know, it happens. It's what can you do? What can you do? But either decide to be a part of it or don't. Like, I didn't buy a new console, or I didn't want a new console until prices went down, and until I had enough games out that I wanted to play, and I had all my friends playing it, all that stuff. It took me a year. I didn't have the PS4 in the first year. I think maybe a year and a half. damn. I didn't have a PS4 in a year and a half. It wasn't a sweat. You know, like, if I'm not going to pay for it, if I know that I'm going to have an issue with the content, I will not put myself through the pain. Like, and I knew it was angering to me because, you know, I still had an Xbox 360 and, you know, I didn't want to fucking pay extra money for a game console that I didn't feel was used to its full capability. I felt it was kind of exploited. So I decided, well, a lot of us decided we're just going to get our lives together and do different things and, you know, really focus on us for a while. And then, you know, playing games will just be a thing of the past or a thing that we do on our own. And that was fun, and it worked, and, you know, everything went well. It was all good, you know. Everybody got jobs, and, you know, they focused on new crafts, and they did new things, and it was all well and dandy. I mean, you can live without buying a game, you know. You can live. Like, you may love video games, but you can live without them, you know. At least I can. So, when dealing with games like Battlefront, where you have to put up more money, or Destiny, where you have to put up more and more money, you know, you came in knowing that. And if you didn't come in knowing that, you didn't wait long enough, you weren't strategic enough. And it doesn't take a genius to be strategic about how to spend money or how to handle your money as far as games go. It just doesn't. It's not that difficult. Like, you know, a game, especially currently, especially in this climate, it's going to cost extra, and these things aren't going to come free, and you're going to have to deal with it. Like, you're going to have to deal with you not having the money to play these games. It just comes down to that. I keep on reiterating the same point because that's the only point that I make. That's the only point I have as far as my standpoint goes. Because there's no purpose in paying for something that you're not going to be able to afford. There's just no point. It's just not going to do you any good in the future. You're just going to get broke, and you're going to get angry that you can't afford the next step and the next step. But to me, with games like Battlefront, Battlefield, you buy it, you pay for what you play. So, like, I bought Battlefield, and I didn't even know how to servers and all that stuff. And I'm not part of the PC Master Race, really. I never really was. But it was kind of like that, how you picked your server and how you played, that type of stuff. It wasn't that streamlined. It wasn't like Call of Duty where, bam, you're in a game, bam, you're in a game. It's not quick. It wasn't quick matches. It wasn't algorithms. It was, you could pick your server or you could pick a quick match. You know, and that's fun. That's great. Whatever. Took some time to adjust. And, you know, there are some maps that I didn't have, and there are some maps that we did have. We did, because we usually buy DLC together, or if DLC comes together, we play the stuff that we can play together when we play it. So, when we're talking about that, I didn't even notice. Like, I didn't even notice the paywall. There were plenty of people playing the old maps. There were plenty of people, I'm sure there's a lot of people playing the new maps. I wasn't really a Battlefield guy. But, you know, with all those things together, it was really not that difficult. I didn't feel any pain, you know. I wasn't hurting that. I wasn't really hurting ever. I didn't feel any pressure. As far as a consumer, I never felt that pressure, and I never will feel that pressure until things get out of control, and then I'll just have to stop buying games. And, you know, I've done it once. I can do it a million times. It's really not that difficult a scenario to give it all up and just let what you buy what you can afford and just let go what you can't. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult for me. For some, it may be, but for me, it's not that difficult. And if you like it so much that you can't live without it, then you're going to pay. Or you're not gonna pay, and you're gonna be hurting, but then you're gonna have to pay, because things don't come free. Like, you're not gonna work for a company for free unless it's an internship, but you're getting something out of it. These people aren't getting anything out of it. If they're gonna let it go, if you're gonna let them have everything, you know, especially when it comes to new content. I just don't understand the conversation when we're talking about paying for new content as opposed to old content, you know, paying for, you know, like a package. If the package isn't big enough to start with, that should be a problem. That's a ringer. That's an issue that I'll have, you know. I mean, like, when we're talking about that, like what's that game? Evolve. I thought that game didn't have enough content. I thought it was a stringy piece of shit. You know, I never played it, so take that with a grain of salt. And I mean, if I never played it, then what? And there's a purpose for it. There's a reason why I never played Evolve, because even that misconception, that slight misconception, was good enough for me to avoid it. And what I heard about it wasn't good enough, so I avoided it. And people bought DLC for it. I don't even know if people play Evolve anymore. Like, you know, Titanfall, I thought Titanfall was the same deal. I thought it was very skimpy, you know. And I don't know. It seemed cool. It seemed hella cool. I mean, it seemed really cool. I gotta say. But, you know, it didn't seem big enough. You know, it seemed kind of dry and skimpy. So I didn't buy that either. I mean, I missed that. I didn't have to make that decision, but it wasn't enough for me to buy a new console. Rise, same deal. I don't know if Rise had any DLC, but, you know, that type of stuff. Assassin's Creed, you know, I didn't think Assassin's Creed was a good enough game for me to buy more DLC. Maybe the pirate one. Alright, Assassin's Creed Black Flag was my shit because I love pirate shit. Like, pirate stuff is probably next to Gundam stuff or zombie stuff. Those things are fucking paramount to me. That's the peak of content. That's the peak. Like, that. Those are my fandom lays. If it's not in space, if it's not, you know, in naked women, if it's not in dealing with, I'm trying to just have the ball too long thing. You know, I can't find an open person. What the fuck do you want me to do? Anyway. But when it comes to those things, what can you do? Don't buy it, you know? I didn't buy a damn thing for games that I didn't think I didn't need to buy for, especially Assassin's Creed. I thought, extra story bits? I don't care that much. I barely made it to the story in the first place. Like, GTA, like, if they ever came, I don't know if they came out with any DLCs for story. I don't know. But GTA, I mean, the online is free. They update it. But, you know, well, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a shit about EA. Or I mean, not EA, but, oh, come on, guys. Not fair. Oh, fuck you. There you go. Come on! Anyway, I mean, I'm not gonna buy any games that I don't want to buy, you know? Like, I don't want... Assassin's Creed story sated my palate. Arkham Batman stuff, by the time I bought Batman stuff, they really had the packs together, you know? All the packs came together. So whatever. Nothing in my brain is turning off, you know. But when we're talking about games like Call of Duty, I'll buy the DLC because I feel like I need that DLC. So I have to prepare myself to be able to afford that content. If I can't afford it, I will just avoid it. Or paying for Destiny. Destiny is something that's priority to me for a PS4. I get a lot of Destiny videos. I mean, you can check my archive and you can see that a lot of it is Destiny. So yeah, I mean, Minecraft skins, fuck a skin. I don't want a skin. I just want to play Minecraft when I play Minecraft. But you know, all that does the same. All that stuff applies. So if you don't want it, no, buy it. Like, if you think it's seedy, you think it's cheap, you think they're robbing you blind, you think they're legally poaching your pockets, then don't buy it. It's gonna suck, but don't buy it. You know, like, if the fun isn't enough, if it's not worth that $110 tag for season pass, to me, I wouldn't buy a season pass. If I was gonna buy the game initially, if I can afford it, I would buy the game, buy a couple packs, buy one pack, or see how much content's on it first. I have to see how much content's on it. But after I see how much content's on it, buy a pack, see how much content's, or look up how much content is per pack, buy however many packs I need to get sated, and then let the chips fall where they fall. But I mean, I don't feel like paying money for something that requires that much money, especially that I have Destiny that requires a lot of money and it requires a lot of time to deal with. So I mean, a lot of my time goes to Destiny, and, you know, Call of Duty, maybe. I might buy Call of Duty, because Call of Duty, you know, has zombies, and zombies has been a staple for me and my friends for a very long time, so, game-wise. So, you know, there could be some Call of Duty streams coming soon, but that's going to be down the line. I can't promise anything. But, yeah, What do you think? If you think, I mean, I don't know. I don't really, if you think that it's bullshit and, they should do this, that, and the third for you, tell me why. I mean, I already told you how I felt. If you think it's bullshit, then don't buy it, and then they're gonna have to come to your wits. But enough people have to do it that way. There's also that game you're playing when you're dealing with that. So you're gonna have to come to terms with that might not even work. You're not buying it yourself. So yeah, I mean, if you feel that way, tell me. If you don't, tell me if you do. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. Get involved in the community. I can't talk. Get involved in the community. SLL Game Channel. .tumblr, I think. I'll put the link in it when the video is archived. But join the community if you can, if you want. Whatever, you can put it on a pay-per-video basis. Help us out. The Skater Loser Loner Game Channel. Help us out. I'll put a link up to the Patreon as well. So we can buy new games, buy new content, and be able to, when we get enough viewership, be able to, put out, what's the word I'm looking for? Merchandise. I don't have any merchandise because I don't have any money, but when that channel develops a community that's big enough, and we develop a community that's strong enough and tough enough, and whatever, I'll put up merchandise, and I'll give you merchandise for helping us out on Patreon, and when we can't afford it, and submit to us your game clips on Tumblr, because not a lot of people do that. And if you want to showcase or collab with me on Skater Loser Loner Game Channel, feel free. You have to have a PS4, but feel free to. I mean, like, I can put up some community videos. I'll watch them if you send them to me. So be sure, and if I think it's cool enough, I'll put it up on YouTube. And I'll make sure your channel is spotlighted. Because I need to collab with some more people. But anyway, thanks for joining us at Game Rant, when we're talking about Star Wars and will you buy it, or will I buy it? And the answer is no. Will I buy it? Won't I buy it? But thanks for joining us. Join us again. Game Rant. I don't know if Game Rant's weekly. I think it is. I don't really keep a lot of a deep schedule. Like, I try to get it around that time because I put up a lot of content. So I don't think anybody really notices, and not a lot of people watch this channel. I mean, I get a lot of minutes watched, but I don't really get a lot of people watching it at once. So I don't really have a schedule as of right now. I don't really put a concise amount of content up. But I'm rambling. Thanks for joining us. Skater Loser Learner Game Channel, SLL. I was gonna throw Opal Lux Entertainment, or not entertainment, Opal Lux Games, where I make my games, but I haven't made any games. Working on some. It's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be mobile because I need to gather as much money as possible right now. Right now, it's focusing on gathering funds. But thanks for joining us. Or joining me on another episode of Skater Loser Loner Game Channel Game Rant. Buy a copy of Star Wars Battlefront if you want, or don't. That is up to you, my friends. Thanks for joining.